All right, we are live and ready to rock and roll. I appreciate you all being here. This is Ironworkers National Training Fund online webinar, June 28th, 2023. I think we got a pretty good lineup for everybody today. We're going to have Lee Worley is going to give us a apprenticeship update. Lots of stuff coming up with Michigan and stuff. So he's got a lot of stuff he wants to talk about. We've got Jeff Todd with Magna Lifting Products. Going to talk about some cool stuff that they've got to offer, maybe your programs. Jason Rafter, training director for California Vicinity, is going to talk about active shooter training and what they're doing down in their district council. As far as that goes, I'll talk a little bit about the current status of the Ironworkers Green Energy training curriculum. We've made some more progress there, so we'll discuss that, and we'll get an update from everybody in the National Training Fund, and go to a little bit of Q&A and get everybody out of here in under an hour. So with that, I'll turn it over. Lee Worley, the floor is yours.
Thanks, James, and welcome everybody. Yeah, I do have a few announcements I need to share with everybody. The annual training program, it's just a short time away. We're excited to be there. We've got a great attendance this year, so I couldn't be happier. Probably our second highest total attendance. But I need two announcements for the instructors that are staying at the dorms. So if you're staying at the dorms, please pay attention. There's lots of road construction going on in Ann Arbor. On State Street, it will affect where the participants can park or be dropped off at North Quad. And the parking spots and the parking spaces will be reserved around the corner on Washington Street. The daily pickup for transport to WCC will also be on Huron Street. And you'll receive, hopefully, notification through an email through my department here. If not this week, next week's. We'll have plenty of signs out front where the normal registration is. It's the same building. It's just going to be a different entrance at North Quad. Like I said, lots of directional signs. Okay. Now comes the tricky one. The graduate students at the University of Michigan are in negotiations with a contract with the college. And they've met over 30 times and they still have not reached an agreement. And there's been a few of the graduate students that are doing like an informational hand billing, please support us around campus. No one has been locked out. There's been no replacement workers. They're still working under contract. But what they're trying to do is follow the university president around campus and kind of let them know that, hey, we want to be heard. Not that they're not being heard, but they'd like a new contract and it's all on wages. I'm not getting into what they want. It's none of our business. So if you do see anybody out there hand billing, we're certainly not crossing a picket line for them. It's just an informational thing. Jason and I will be on campus during registration and throughout the week. If you hear or see anything, please get a hold of Jason and I immediately. We don't want any problems. I don't anticipate any problems. I'm just looking at a worst case scenario. If they decide and find out that the ironworkers are on campus and they try to do something, they may disrupt us. That's the worst case scenario. Nobody believes that's going to happen, but I felt I should share that with you if you're staying in the dorms. So crossing our fingers. Okay. The last announcement I have, and I shared this with the group, the webinar a little while ago, and I will be announcing it in Michigan, and it'll also be sent in writing. This year at the annual instructors conference, we'll be conducting our last AWS certified welding inspector course and examination. Starting in September, we're going to be referring you to the Hobart Institute of Welding Technology for a prep course and testing. Hobart offers a 2-week preparation course and is an American Welding Society approved testing facility for the exam. Over the past 10 years, I've been looking for options to CWI training to improve the passing rate for our members, which is anywhere from 25 to 30% at best for the first attempt. It's no secret that this examination is challenging, time-consuming, and expensive. And after exploration and discussion with those in the apprenticeship and training community, it's time for a change. I've also spoken with probably 6 or so members who've gone to Hobart on their own. They speak very highly of it. They do a great job. And we're averaging, the National Training Fund, it's our department, is averaging $4,500 per student between the prep course and the regional training center in Michigan. If you're attending both of those, we're subsidizing that cost. That doesn't count your airfare, time, wages, etc. And we've got guys taking this test 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and we have spent hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars over the last probably 15 years for a 25 to 30% pass rate. So we're going to try something different, and you will be receiving information regarding Hobart, books. I believe, Jason, when I'm done here, please, Jason Corder, please chime in whenever I'm missing. Hobart offers these prep courses monthly. So you'll be able to go online. We'll send you nearby hotels. The National Training Fund is going to reimburse each potential instructor or new instructor reimbursement for tuition costs, which is $1,850. We're going to reimburse you for the registration fee, which is $125. We'll reimburse you for the book fee, which is not the D1.1. That's a separate cost. There's a book fee from Hobart, which is $315. So the Apprenticeship and Training Department, the National Fund, will reimburse each participant with the approval of the apprenticeship coordinator, probably close to $3,000 per participant. Each local is going to be responsible for the D1.1 code book, which they've always paid for in the past. And their travel cost. The only thing that you're going to have to be responsible for is the hotel, because it's obviously, Jason, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the city in Ohio, or is it Ohio?
Yeah, it's Troy, Ohio is where they're based out of.
Somewhere near Cleveland?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we'll get that information to you. So again, we've been spending $4,500 per participant over the years for a 25 to 30% pass rate. And I got to try something different. And we're going to go down this road. More information to come. I just wanted to let you know. And hopefully we can, with this new way of learning, new instructor, new institution, our members will have a higher pass rate. So with that, before I turn it over to James, Jason Corder, have I missed anything?
No, I think this is going to work out great for a lot of coordinators. Some guys are going to grumble about the cost of it because of the additional cost on the facility. But they have a 70% pass rate for the 2 weeks that the individual will be there. And the nice thing, like Lee said, is it's going to be they have it sometimes once or twice a month. So if you had a coordinator that, or I'm sorry, a CWI that quit on you in August or September, you don't have to wait for the prep course as well as the next annual training event to get them their CWI. You'll be able to send them to Hobart at the next following thing to get them up there and trained and get their CWI hopefully quicker than other people do. And some people have done that in the past anyways. So we're just going to try to make it easier for all of the apprenticeship schools.
Looking at the 2 weeks at Hobart compared to the 1 week at the regional training center, if you took the prep course, then you were looking at 12 days in Michigan anyway. So you're going really, 20 to 21 days down to 14 days. I know it's a long time, but you're already investing that much time and more for a lesser pass rate. So again, we're trying something different. More information to come, and I'm going to turn it over to James. Looking forward to seeing everybody in Ann Arbor. Back to you, James.
All right. Thanks, Lee. Let's see. I've got somebody with their hand up. Kevin, you're muted, my friend. There you go.
Yeah. So if they attend the Hobart Institute, they still get credit towards their training, right? For their certification as an instructor. All right. Thank you.
All right. Good question, Kevin. Appreciate that. Okay. We're going to move forward. We've got Lee reached out to me. We've got some individuals from Magna lifting products. Jeff Todd's going to kind of facilitate the conversation and just let us know, what they're offering and what they're about and what the discussion between them and Lee was and how we may all benefit from it. So Jeff, I will turn it over to you, my friend.
Okay. Appreciate you guys having us on here. My name's Jeff Todd. I'm the Southeast Regional Sales Manager for Magna Lifting. I cover Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, and spoke to Lee at the beginning of the year about some of our training programs. I've asked our Vice President, Patrick Hughes, to be on the call as well. Patrick's got years of experience in the industry, and I will pass that to him. He's going to fill you in just on Magna as a whole and some of the things that we have to offer. So I'll pass that to Patrick.
All right, Patrick, there you are.
Hi. Yeah, good afternoon, I guess it is, depending on where you are in the world. Hi, my name is Patrick Hughes. As Jeff said, I am the Vice President of Magna. My background is I'm a mechanical engineer. I happen to sit on the 4 ASME committees, B30, 9, 10, 16, and 21. So I'm a voting member of those committees, 2 of which are relevant to the products that we sell, which are manual hand chain hoist and lever hoist. And Magna, we can come out and provide training as far as it relates to our products, our lever hoist, our manual hand chain hoist, and we also have other products which are trolleys, beam clamps, and wire rope pullers. What this training would potentially entail is proper usage, misusage, how it relates to the standards, common things we see within as far as if things get sent back to us, common misunderstanding of how the hoist works. We describe the internal workings of it as far as Weston brake, what's going on with the hoist, when you're using it, and that sort of stuff. So we can provide that training if that's something that you guys are interested in. It is, of course, overall manual hoist training, but it is geared towards, of course, Magna, because we're promoting our product, but it is general hoist training in general that's geared and specifically tailored to Magna.
All right, Jeff, you got anything else on that?
Yeah, with us being across the country and nationwide with full sales team, 4 warehouses across the country that we can easily ship out of. We can do as many trainings with as many shifts that you would like there on site. So I just wanted to bring Patrick in as well to kind of give a brief description of Magna as a whole, and open to take any questions, especially directed for Patrick.
So I'm going to start with the question, James.
Go ahead, Lee.
The Magna people, obviously you're going to send me some sort of draft flyer informational so we can send out to all the coordinators across the country. Is that
Yes,
what I'm going to
yes,
do?
Yeah, we have an existing PowerPoint presentation that we have. It's some of it is pretty extensive, pretty detailed. It'll have things such like free body diagrams and other misusage of hoist. I can tailor it and skip certain slides, but yes, there is a overall presentation that already exists that we can send you for sure.
Yeah, get it to fine tune it to what the ironworkers' needs are, and the waiting game is on you. As soon as you get it to me, I will send it out. So thank you guys for.
Is there
before I turn it back over to James?
When you say that, as far as fine tune it, is there, as far as I give you the existing presentation, is there some slides you want me to take out of it, or?
Oh, I'm just going with what you said. I thought you said you were going to take a few things out. So whatever you need to do to get that information to me, I'll pass it forward.
Okay, perfect.
Quick question, Patrick and Jeff. I've got some things coming in the chat. Cost and duration of training. Is there a cost to the apprenticeship programs for this training? 1, 2, what is the duration of this training, scope of training? And then is there a apprenticeship discount for cost of product?
As far as discount, no. As far as cost, the training, depending on where it is, we typically have not charged for the training. I don't know how many locations you would want us to go to. So we typically just cover our traveling costs. But other than that, there is we don't charge for the training. And then as far as duration goes, I can make it, if I have to be fast, I can do it a half hour. Otherwise I can go up to a couple hours if I have demonstrations. We have hoists that I can bring with me. I have cutaways and I can extend it out. It can be pretty long. It can be a few hours. if need be.
Patrick, ironworkers like to read about something, hear about something, but they also like to touch it and see it, just so you know.
Okay, fantastic. Then I have lots of goodies that we bring in the training, actual hoists, and I have some hoists that we bring that are cutaways, so you can see the internal workings of how the Western brake works, which we correlate with slides that are in the presentation. So it sounds like we might want to make it. I mean, I don't know if you have a certain amount of training hours that you have to have per month or whatever, but if you give me a couple hours, I can take a couple hours. If you give me only an hour, then I can make it last an hour.
Okay, perfect. All right, Jeff, Patrick, thank you. Any questions for Jeff or Patrick? And if not, we will wait for the information to get sent to Lee, and he will distribute it to all of our programs. Jeff Norris, you've got your hand up.
Yes, Patrick, do you have distribution in Canada?
We do. We have distribution in mostly, all throughout Canada. The majority of it's in Ontario, but we do have some. We do have a few distribution in British Columbia, and then we have a couple locations in Quebec as well. And there is a couple facilities in Edmonton too.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
All right. Thanks, Patrick and Jeff. We appreciate your time. Okay. All right. Let's see. Moving forward with the agenda here. I think we might have kind of mentioned it prior, but Lee was chatting the other day, and California District Council is doing some really cool stuff with some active shooter training. There's a pretty good benefit to it, and they've done a couple of them, and so we asked if Jason Rafter, the training director, could come on today and maybe give us kind of a rundown of what brought them to want to do this training. What does it take to kind of get it set up in your area? What is the demand for it? How do the classes look like? How long do they last? And then are they seeing a benefit, and kind of what's the feedback? So I'll turn the table over to Mr. Rafter, and we'll hear about active shooter training.
Great. Thanks, James. Thanks for having us on. Good to see everybody. Look forward to seeing everybody back there in Michigan here in a couple weeks. But with the recent tragedies, that it's made us realize that the risk is real, and that an active shooter incident can happen at any place at any time. The best way to stay safe are to prepare ahead of time and be ready. Taking a few steps now and mentally rehearsing what we can do to help reactions when every second counts. There is a rising curve with these events as each one tries to outdo the prior one, and every single one of them is portrayed on all the news channels throughout the country, probably both countries, United States and Canada. So what we've done in the California District Council, we've had 2 4-hour training sessions, one in Northern California and one in Southern California. They consisted of coordinators, instructors, office staff, business managers, agents, organizers, and it was conducted by the local sheriff's department, who was part of the security services threat management unit, critical incident negotiations team, and the sheriff's FBI liaison violent crimes task force. So some of the scenarios that were discussed were students potentially failing classes or qualification weld tests, in which the student blames or thinks it's the instructor or the test supervisor's fault, not their own. Or scenarios where the sheriff's department has experience with active shooters within that particular area that we've done the training. Or individuals with personal issues, losing a girlfriend, job, wife, or not having any meaning in life. I mean, drugs and alcohol. I mean, I don't know how it is in other locations, but in California, there's a lot of dependency on chemicals and drugs and alcohol, which alter and change their state of mind. And being able to talk and try to understand some of the individuals that we're dealing with might help save some lives in the future. The sheriffs, they said survival is possible working with them, right? So when or if, not when, hopefully if or never, it does happen, I mean, make sure that you're having law enforcement around your training facility. The one that we conducted in Northern California was a Sacramento sheriff, and you know, both myself and the coordinator for Local 118 have created a pretty good relationship with them. And by doing that, there's a lot of homelessness within Sacramento, right around our training facility. Our new sheriff that was just elected, his campaign is against homelessness. So by having a good relationship with him, he has put us in contact with the liaison sheriff that is overseeing the homelessness, and the streets have been cleaned up around our training facilities. So I mean, just a lot of issues that you know, can be resolved with having a good relationship with the sheriff's department. But the main point of what the instructor said was discuss with the staff evacuations and options, hiding spots, and make sure you call 911, leave your phone open so that if something does happen and you drop your phone, it's open and the 911 operator is aware of what's going on and they can send people in. Help the injured individuals. If there are individuals that are injured, try to help them and get them out and escape if possible when it's safe. Just the main thing was just trying to take an active role in each one of our safety and the individuals at our training facilities. So two sessions is what we've done so far. They were 4 hours each. We provided lunch for the class. Both classes were over 30 participants in each one of the classes. With the assistance of Lee, there has been a video that has been filmed. The first one was filmed. So Lee, we probably should get that video here shortly. I did talk to Nate this morning, and there was a couple questions that need to be finalized. So as soon as I get that Venmo video, I'll get it out to you. So whatever it is you want to do with it. My thoughts are to get it to all the training facilities to ensure that all new hires, right, instructors, coordinators, office staff can view it so that you know, they can talk to each other and try to set up a plan if it ever happens.
Okay, thank you. As soon as you get that, I'll send it out to anybody and you can use it as you wish. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, that was you know, when at my time as coordinator, you know, I didn't even think about stuff like that, but I can remember a couple instances where we had an apprentice get up in class and they, you know, the class was kind of ganging up on him, and the apprentice jumped up and ran out and, you know, said something about, I'm gonna come back and shoot everybody in this class, and left. And, you know, how do you handle that situation, right? Calling the police and don't allow this guy back into the thing, but nobody really knew, and there was really no kind of official training and stuff. So I think this is really an interesting thing, not only for your apprenticeship staff, but even possibly implementing some of this some way with your apprentices too. You know, they're the ones that are in the class, they're the ones that are interacting with everybody in the training center. And so how to be able to identify some of these signs and signals maybe, you know, could be benefit to kind of all parties. So if you have any questions about that, you can reach out to Jason Rafter directly, or you can shoot me an email and you know, I can get you in touch with him. But I think it's something that we should all be looking at, or at least thinking about. I think there's a good value there. So thanks, Jason, for that presentation. I appreciate it.
Hey, and something else that you guys might think about too, whenever you're at your training centers, typically a coordinator, we're kind of locked behind a door. I mean, you have to go through a secretary to get to us, you know, in most locations, but in those ones where you're not locked behind a door and you have just a secretary that's there, and you might be out in the shop away from them. There's people that come into facilities all the time that are just not mentally okay. And so having a space where your secretary is safe is pretty important. You know, I mean, I don't want to see any of y'all get hurt either, but do think about your secretary. I had an incident a couple of years before I came on staff that Harvey Swift was questioning me about just a minute ago. And a guy came into my office. We had an open door, and he came into my office and was standing next to my secretary. with a hatchet in his coat. So now what his intention was with the hatchet, we don't know. That situation devolved pretty quickly. We called the police and the police came out. And he ended up in jail. I mean, he was taken away in handcuffs with the police taking the hatchet from him. So that thing about active shooter, yeah, that's one thing. But look, they're coming in with all kinds of stuff, you know, so it's don't just get super focused on, well, somebody's got a gun. Just be focused in all situations that might come up.
Nice. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Good perspective. Yeah. So if you want any information on the active shooter, let me know or get a hold of Rafter. Okay, so moving forward, I wanted to kind of just give a quick update. I know we talked about it last time. We're finalizing the 4 modules of the green energy. It has been sent off to Mosaic. It is basically done. We're just finalizing some of the last little, you know, a period goes here, a picture goes there. We've got the final flyers done. Lee's approved everything. He's going to be talking about that and distributing some of that stuff in Ann Arbor in a few weeks. So you will all be seeing that come down the pike. Hopefully, like I said earlier, we've got that ready for everybody to start doing the training here this fall or shortly after Michigan. Full LMS implementation. It's broken up into the 4 different modules, so you don't have to take them all. So we're excited about that. I know we've been, a lot of you have reached out and asked about it, and we're getting it done. And I think we're getting it done in kind of record time. So I reviewed a lot of it this week. It was sent out by Mosaic for all of us at the Training Fund to review, and it looks really, really good. So we're excited about that. As far as just kind of the quick little grant pre-apprenticeship update, talking about that stuff, I've been really, really busy with a lot of grant consultations. I got a lot of local coordinators reaching out to me, asking me kind of what this grant stuff's about and how do they develop the community relationships and implementing, you know, pre-apprenticeship programs or how to apply for grants. So if you've been thinking about the grant stuff, if you've been kind of on the fence, I'm starting to get a really good list of resources, contacts, community partners. And so if you need some help with any of that stuff, please reach out to me. One of the things that we're working for now, I know California just got their pre-apprenticeship program registered with the state. So they have a state recognized pre-apprenticeship. Washington State did the same thing. And now we've got the Department of Labor on a federal level talking about a registered pre-apprenticeship that's going to go kind of side by side with our registered pre-apprenticeship program. So this can be a great tool for organizing, leveraging market share, all of this stuff. So I am hoping with the work of the National Training Fund, we will have a international iron workers pre-apprenticeship program registered with the Department of Labor. Hopefully this year, if not early next year, and be the first building trade to do so. So we're super, super excited. And I can't even begin to talk about how much, you know, leverage and what that means for us as a registered apprenticeship across the country. But we will talk about that at a later date. So that's all I got on that. Any questions there before we move on? You can raise your hand. So I think what we'll do now is no, okay, we're good. I thought somebody had their hand up. We'll just kind of go through the rest of the National Training Fund staff and get a little update and see what's going on in their world regionally or with the programs that they oversee. I've got Jason Quarter up next. As you all know, he's kind of overseeing the welding program, National Training Fund app, all of this WPQR, QC47. As well as his region. We'll see if he's got anything. Jason, you got anything for us today, my friend?
Yeah, I got quite a bit. So just give everybody the heads up. So the WCP site, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have viewed that webinar that they were going on the training event. And you understand that the old WCP is going away. That'll officially go away after Michigan. So when you guys come back, you'll have the new site and how to log in and stuff. There's been 3 different types of trainings on that. And those videos on the training are in the YouTube, Ironworkers YouTube stuff. Thanks, James, for doing that. That's also accessible through the National Training Fund app. Speaking of the app, if you guys haven't done it, when you log into your app, go into your profile and add your book number, please. So that's something that we just put in. That's a way that the National Training Fund can send you a specific push notification. So in case we need to get a hold of you, we would appreciate that. When it's coming out to the QC 47, I know that's kind of been a hot topic for us, is AWS is done. It's there, they're ready. They're just trying to figure out on their end how they're going to roll that out and put that out to the public. Because that affects not only just us, but that'll affect the other custom programs that are out there, as well as all their ATFs across the country and the world. So they're trying to figure out exactly how they're going to push that out there and roll it out there and get everybody on board with it. So that brings us into that WPQ1. So far, we've had 98 people take that course. And for the people that have tested, we've had really good passing rates. Just a few of the guys have not made it to that 70% mark. And that's some of it that is people not taking it right after the course. So I know in the past that we've always said, try to register for the test right after, before you, a couple months before you actually take the prep course, so that is when you're done with the prep course, you can immediately go in and take that test. But rather than that, everything's been pretty good with that. Any questions on that?
Yeah, Jason, I got one. Has AWS put out a must-do date where this is mandatory? You have to have this endorsement.
They still have not done that, and that's part of their process of figuring out how they're going to roll that out, because they're pushing it online, they're pushing the courses, they're doing it, they're talking about it all the time. They just haven't. AWS has their issues right now. They're severely understaffed, and their changeover rate is quite a bit. They were supposed to hire somebody new to oversee that specific program, a full-time employee, but they still haven't given me that this is a due date, and that's part of their rollout, figuring out how they're going to do that.
So I told Jason we were going to attack this from the start and not wait for an expiration date or a date where they're actually going to start endorsing or enforcing this. So Jason Quarter, once they set, AWS sends that final date, does everybody, not just the ironworkers, anybody who's a CWI who wants this endorsement, is there a time frame where they have to have it? Would they get another 6 months? What are you thinking?
From what I understand, what they're saying is, the talk is that if you just did your first self audit, by the next time you do a self audit or you have an in-person audit, so a year, that they're going to expect every test supervisor or anybody giving tests at a ATF to have this endorsement.
Thank you.
Jason, Ed Moronsky.
Yes. Hey.
I'm one of that 70 or that 30% that didn't pass. I'm having issues getting a new scheduled date. I don't know if there's something going on with AWS. I've reached out to them 5 times. They say they're working on it. I'm wondering on your end if you guys can help somehow get me rescheduled or something. I'm getting nowhere with them at this point, and I've taken the test in April, and I still have not been allowed to sign up to retest for this endorsement.
Okay, Ed, I will reach out to them today and see if I can get you some help with that.
I see Joe Derby's got his hand up. Sorry, Jason, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Joe?
Yes, good morning, Joe Derby, 1331-425. I've got a question about the app that you were talking about, Mr. Porter. As you were talking about that, said to add your book number. I looked at the app and I was unable to find a spot where I should be adding the book number. Is there a specific location?
It should be under your profile.
All right. Hopefully that answers Joe's question. If not, just reach out to Quarter and he can get you squared away if anybody has any questions on the app. Anything else, Quarter?
I do want to bring up that within a week or so, I will have a list of welding equipment that Miller and Lincoln Electric generally sells after the annual training event. So they won't have you guys can get it. It's pretty much not used or barely used, so they can't sell it as brand new. So there's a substantial discount for it, and we'll have those numbers, and let me know what you're going to look for out of that thing, and you'll have to work with a local sales rep with them, so everything's done prior to you guys leaving Michigan, and they'll ship it right to your door. This is done in the past with a different area, and they were pretty much buying everything, and nobody knew that this was possible. I'm like, well, you need to share the wealth across the United States and Canada.
Good call. Good call. Josh, you've got your hand up. You got a question for Jason?
Yeah, Jason. You and I still got to get together with the app. I'm still not able to log in and deal with that. So,
okay.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Anybody else? All right, Jason, you good, buddy?
I'm good. If anybody has any questions, I will look through the chat, because I think a couple people are stuffed with chatting me. So then if I can answer anybody's questions, I'll come back.
All right. Appreciate you. Thanks, Jason. Okay. Next on the list, we don't have Samson here today. He's busy doing an IICB. So he won't be bringing anything for us today, but I'll turn it over to Brian Tannehill if he's got any updates or things he wants to talk about in his area.
So the only thing that I've got are dates. So if your local is not participating in the Ironworker Rigger certification program, you should be. It's been out long enough. The next class date is 8/21 through 8/25 in Chicago. That right now there's 4 students for that class, and if there's not more, we'll have to cancel it. Then in October, you got 10:30 to 11:3 in Washington at the Local 5 Regional Training Center. And then in November, 11:13 through 11:17 at the new Regional Training Center in Henderson, Nevada for the Ironworker Rigger. If those classes get canceled and your district council president calls our executive director and says, hey, I really need to put this Ironworker Rigger class on in my area, there may be some issues getting that class done because we're canceling more of these classes than it seems like we're having. Not saying that we won't do it. We're just saying that there's going to be some questions asked and some hard answers that have to be come up with. So I don't know if Jason put out the WPQ1 courses that are coming up. If you haven't taken it and you're a CWI or you have CWIs on staff, those dates are 8/29 through 8/31 in Chicago. Right now there's 23 students in that class. 9/26 through 9/28 in Henderson, Nevada. There are no students currently signed up for that one. 11/7 through 11/9 in Washington at Local 5. There are no students currently signed up for that class. The EPRI training class, we only have one date left for it this year. That's 9/25 through 9/29. That's in Chicago. And right now I have one student for that class, and that class will not go with one student. So if you need the EPRI rigging certification program in your local, then send guys to get that course. Any questions about the rigging program, EPRI, or or the dates for the WPQ1.
Hey, Brian, I got it.
Go ahead, Rafter.
Jason?
Through the chair, James. Hey, Brian, I got a question in regard to the certified rigger. I've been promoting the hell out of it here in the California District Council, but I just not getting no contractors to buy in. I mean, how successful has it been in the rest of the United States? I mean, how many certified riggers do we have?
175 certified riggers right now on the books. The biggest majority of those are trainers. The largest number of that group is trainers. Nobody's going to buy into it if we don't have people who are qualified for it. But when those contractors start getting requests from general contractors to have a certified workforce for riggers, then they're going to be scrambling. What we need to do is be ahead of the game so that our members are certified for it, regardless if the employer wants it right now or not. You know, if it's not a benefit to the employer at this time, okay. But there are conversations being had. I'm fixing to go sit on a panel in Oklahoma City in September, and the main point of our conversation is, do we need to have a certification or not? And my assumption is that the other person sitting on that panel, who is the CEO for NCCCO, is going to say, absolutely, we need a certification for riggers. You know, and so when he does that in a room full of riggers, then that's what's going to be taken out of there. Those conversations are what's going to drive rigging certifications across the industry. And if we're not positioning ourselves now to meet that demand, CCO will.
And I'd just like to reinforce Brian Tannehill's comments, Jason Rafter. So when Mike Rowley and I went down this road in 2016, 2017, we were only getting probably 5% of the country, parts of the country that needed a certification. And we thought about it and thought about it. And we finally went down that road to compete with the other entities that were promoting the hell out of this and winning the work. So I agree with Brian. There's nothing worse. We don't want to react later and then all of a sudden try to play catch up. If it's not required in your area, hey, it sounds like you don't need it. But if it does happen, at least you'll have a qualified certified guy there and the equipment to offer the test in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
Did I catch that right, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. The worst thing that we can do at this point, because that Pandora is out of the box, right? And CCO has been driving it for, they've been in the driver's seat since this certification started because they were the ones with it. And all we can do is get in the car at this point. But we have to start pushing it with our members. Our members are going out and they're getting NCCCO certifications, rigging certifications. They're getting those. They're paying up to $600 to get rigger level 1, rigger level 2, and signaling certifications. There's nothing in a contract document that's going to say you have to have an NCCCO rigging certification. It might say that you have to have NCCCO or equivalent. We're equivalent. We think we're better. Why do we think we're better? Because they use our training materials for their tests, right? So, I mean, for us, it's a no-brainer to be in that field, making those moves. So, but until we get full buy-in with JATCs and local unions across the country, we're on the back foot, and that's not a good place for us to be with the number of workers that we have to be employable at any one time.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I don't want to be behind the 8 ball either. That's why I'm bringing it up. So we'll just continue promoting it to our membership and try to do bottom up instead of top down type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Thanks. Good.
You know, one thing that we did in my local was we tied some certifications to some money. So if we knew that there was a certification that we needed our members to have, we tied it to a pay raise. And that changed the outlook on what some guys did. So maybe that's something to think about. Maybe it's not, but it's something that worked for us. Kevin Crocker, you have a question?
You're muted, Kevin. There you go.
Yeah, so before Russ left, one of the things he did, I think he changed it from 6,400 hours down to 6,000 hours. And I asked him, well, when would be a good time to test the new journeymen that complete their 4th year? So we offer that, you know, to them. Once they take their journeyman exam, we try to get them scheduled a few weeks after that to come in and take that exam. So that way they get the certified rigger.
So there's not anything that says that your guy has to be a journeyman that takes that test.
Right.
It just says that they have to have 6,000 hours. So if you're in a 3-year program, you're not probably going to hit that number until they're graduating. But if you're in a 4-year program and you're running 7,500 hours before that guy journeys out, then he absolutely is going to qualify. You know, if he has the time in that portion of the trade and feels comfortable with taking the test, if they can pass the test, they're a rigger. So I would not hesitate to give that to a 4th year apprentice that meets the requirements. Otherwise, you know, the 750 hours and then the 6,000 hours, you know, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
Perfect.
Just so y'all know.
All right. Thanks, Brian, and everybody on that. We're getting towards the, yeah, go ahead.
James, one more through the chair.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Hey, Brian, one last question. You know, some of the contractors, the only pushback that they get is the time that it takes to request the test, you know, because everybody waits until the last minute, like we just discussed, right? And is there any way to expedite if?
Nope. No, there's not. That's why I'm telling everybody, don't drag your feet. Have 6 or 8 sessions that are scheduled throughout the year. And that way at your local, you're putting out, hey, we're having a ironworker rigger exam on the 30th of March, the 15th of June, the 12th of September, and the 5th of December. We've got all these dates. Now, you're not going to turn in documentation until those classes are full, but I can give it to one person at my local union, right? So if I have somebody that signs up when testing day comes, so you're going to turn in their information 30 days ahead of time. You're just giving them a list to sign, right? That's the best way to do that, is make some hard dates where you're going to say, we're going to focus these dates on this program, and this is when we're going to do the testing. And then you can work out the other stuff later. But the way that the program is set up, there's no way for me to expedite the application time. If we do that, that's going to affect our certification process. So.
Okay. All right. Hopefully that answered your question. We got 10 minutes left. Kevin, I see your hands up again. You got something real quick?
Yeah, I ran quite a few of those tests, and you know, we have like a 33% pass rate, a 50%, a 75%. Try to set up some type of in the evening 12-hour refresher class for the rigger. We typically do it here on the West Coast from 6 to 9 o'clock, 4 days straight the week before the exam. If your members don't do that, they're probably not going to pass the written portion of it.
Yeah, and so just to let y'all know, some of the things that I found that causes a problem, signaling, you know, what signal is given, that's causing a problem. Guys don't know that. Some ANSI requirements, guys don't know those. Some OSHA requirements. So when we're looking at rigging standards, things that we have to live by, our guys don't know those. And crane signaling, they don't know that either. So those are those are 3 areas that if we cleaned up those really 2 areas with the standards, both OSHA and ASME standards, and then cleaned up our signaling and got back to what's required, then I think the pass fail rate would climb. But that's going to take a real grassroots effort for us in the apprenticeship training departments and our respective locals to make that happen.
Hey, with that being said, is there any way that Kevin or maybe Brian, you could have somebody record some of his training sessions and put it on the LMS so that, you know, we're not paying instructors at every council or something to do the tutoring to prep them?
So as far as the National Training Fund, we cannot be like, the IICB can't be involved in that training. We have some training that's already out there that can be moved to the LMS for refresher type training. So we can take what we have, what we do with our 12-hour course, and we can put that on the LMS. But Jason, you know as well as I do, I can put it out there. I can put all the best training in the world on the LMS, and if guys won't go to it and actually do it, then they're still not going to pass. So,
yeah. Okay.
That's why some of those instructor-led training sessions where that instructor is knowledgeable can build those classes and make them better in that 12 hours of training. Hey, James, I think Jason has one more thing too.
Yeah. No, that's good. I was just waiting for you guys to get through that. Yeah, if you have any questions about that program, please reach out to Brian. There's probably nobody in the country that's done more certifications than Kevin Crocker. He's kind of got that thing on rinse and repeat. So if you're looking for some best practices, feel free to reach out to him too. I'm sure that he would love to share some information with you guys. And we've got 6 minutes left before we wrap this up. We'll turn it over to Jason Quarter.
I just wanted to let everybody know that I put it in the chat box, but new credentials for the new WCP site, the new credentials are being created, and you're going to have to use your Ironworkers International email address with that. So I wanted to put that out there real quick.
Okay, perfect. All right, we got a couple things in chat there for you guys. I put the link to the YouTube in the chat for everybody. We got a couple minutes left. Lee Worley, do you have any closing remarks?
No, I just want to thank everybody for their participation. Hope everybody have a great 4th of July, and I'll see you in a few short weeks in Michigan. Thanks, James.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Okay. Anybody got anything else? Things we should look at, including in our upcoming webinars? Do you have any questions, comments, concerns regarding National Training Fund and apprenticeship? We'd love to hear from you. I try to make this an open forum. So if anybody's got anything, feel free. All right. Derek Sample, make it mandatory to take a prep course before taking the rigging test. If they can't do it, then they take the test. Gotcha. Okay. Good point. Good point. Okay. All right. Well, seeing no hands up, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate all of you being here. Your continued participation in this. I think there's great conversations going on here, and we will continue to do these in the future. Y'all have a great week, and we will see you in Michigan. Appreciate everybody.